Hi, welcome back to part three. This should not take very long. We are almost done with the Eisenhower Cold War information. We left off talking about the Hungary Revolt in 1956. And so we have containment or Cold War issues in Europe, Berlin, Hungary. We have it in Asia, with China, Vietnam, Korea, and now we have conflict in the Middle East. And the Middle East will become a battleground of the Cold War. So a lot of issues that are really going on today are a result of Cold War policies under Harry Truman and Eisenhower. All right, so in Egypt, the Suez Canal, major trade route, was controlled by Britain and France. And the president, Gamal Nasser, I'm really good with Egyptian names. Nasser, shoot, I'm from America. The Nasser, he does not want to have the Suez Canal being controlled by the British and French. So he nationalizes it, which basically means that it's going to be run by the Egyptian government. So whenever y'all read a question or anything about something is nationalized, it means it's run by the government. And in our eyes, it sounds very much like nationalized. It sounds like communism. So that's the deal. That's the key. So the Egyptian president nationalizes the Suez Canal. Britain and France invade and try to take it back. And the Soviet Union gets involved and threatens to intervene on behalf of of Egypt. And Nasser knew all along he was going to play both sides against each other for him to get what he wanted, which of course is the control of the Suez Canal. So he did a good job playing both sides against each other. And the United States actually gets involved and is a mediator, if you would, and a truce is signed, and Egypt controls the Suez Canal. The last kind of area I want to discuss is the space race, which is really going to become synonymous with the Cold War. The space race is really plays upon the fears of all the Americans. We're almost done. So it really becomes a kind of a race between us and the Soviet Union as to really who can take control of the skies. We know who can take control of the world. We both, we have more weapons than anybody. But the Soviets, they won. They were the first one to have a satellite in orbit. So Sputnik, in I believe 1957, which is, I believe my Russian friends will tell me that it just means Sputnik just means satellite. So maybe they need to hire better PR guys. Who's naming a satellite? But I digress. They can. So they launch it, which of course America goes crazy because now they're spying on us, because we would never spy on them, because in 1960 when one of our spy planes gets shot down over Moscow, and the Soviets have the pilot, the U-2 pilot, Gary Powers. We of course denied any and all spying. We would never spy on the Soviet Union until they shot down our plane. So then we kind of own up to that one. A little embarrassing, but with Sputnik, the Americans were very feared that we were going to be spied upon, and that also kind of plays into the fears of the Americans. People are buying radiation suits. People are, getting bomb shelters built in their backyard, right next to the Weber Grill, and so this is really an uneasy time in America. And the Eisenhower administration was pretty upset that the Soviets beat us to launch a satellite. And the fear was Americans are too busy with their cars, with their grass, with their lawns, houses and rock and roll, and our kids aren't smart enough. Just flat out simple. American kids are just not. They is dumb. And so they passed a big National Education Act, which of course stressed there's more grants for kids to go to college to study math and science, and and curriculums are being changed. And so the big push for math and science becomes the mantra of the federal government and institutions of higher learning all over the country in the 1950s. And that, of course, is why we have, a solid curriculum at Stevenson with math and science. And that, my young friends, is the end of the Eisenhower Chapter 33, the end of the Cold War for the 50s. We'll pick up the Cold War in the 60s when we talk about such events as the Berlin Wall and the Vietnam War. So you all have a great Sunday. All right. I hope your brackets are doing okay. If that's something that you do, which I'm not saying that you should or do or I do or anyone does, really. No one really. Just disregard this last 15 seconds. Hey, y'all have a good day. Bye.